It appears that after several months of talks, the BJP and the PDP are on the verge of formalizing an agreement. This is after they appear to have reached a consensus as far as Article 370 for Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and also on the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. These were the two issues which were of concern, and if the two parties were able to or have been able to reach a consensus on these two issues, then the process of government formation becomes relatively easy, because these were the two sticky tumbling blocks. Now, the way we've been reporting it over the last couple of hours is that this is going to happen tomorrow, that it was essentially a done deal, that the PDP and the BJP had agreed that Article 370 would remain the way it is right now. Article 370 gives Jammu and Kashmir its special status, but within the realm of the constitution of the country, that would remain. But as far as the Armed Forces Special Powers Act was concerned, there was a sense that the BJP had conceded to what the PDP had wanted, that there would be a gradual withdrawal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and the Jammu and Kashmir police would actually come into those areas where AFSPA is now working. But, and in Jammu and Kashmir politics there is always a but, in the last 1 hour or so, this is changing. It's unraveling once again, and there appear to be concerns from the PDP about the language that the BJP has proposed as far as AFSPA is concerned. My colleague Nazir Masoodi joins us now with these latest details. Nazir, 1 hour back we were saying it's done. People in Jammu and Kashmir would finally get that government perhaps within the next 1 week. But now once again it's a small step back. What's gone wrong?
Well, Vishnu, deal is almost done. It is now the matter of the detail, language and the wording on few issues which where PDP patron Mufti Muhammad Saeed is not comfortable with. He wants certain changes in the language. Essentially, he agree on every issue, but it is just the question of wording, how they are going to put it. In politics, these are nonsense, but in some areas they want more clarity so that there is no confusion in future. And our sources tell us a senior PDP leader is tomorrow flying to Delhi. They are meeting a senior, top BJP leadership in Delhi to resolve these minor, hiccups in the final announcement, which was expected tomorrow. But now the PDP leaders here are saying no, there will not be an announcement tomorrow, but they say this whole issue and the announcement about the government formation will take place early this next week. So it is not something with that everything has been disturbed because of one thing. It is just matter of wording, one thing one way or the other way. But PDP chief spokesman Naeem Akhtar officially confirmed that look, they have agreed on most of the areas. There are some areas which need to be covered, and there would be further negotiations. He say government announcement is expected.
Okay, Nazir, I just need to go across to my panelists at this stage to look at some of the issues that you have raised. Joining us now, Gohar Gilani, the writer, commentator, somebody who's been close to the PDP. Lieutenant General Raj Kadyan, former Deputy Chief of Army Staff, thanks for joining us. Praveen Swami, who's covered Kashmir for years and years, and Radha Kumar, the former interlocutor in Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you all very much for being with us. Gohar Saab, tell me this. What is the specific concern that you are aware of that the PDP actually has as far as AFSPA, the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, is concerned? Because we were reporting till just a few hours back that they had reached an understanding, the BJP and the PDP. Okay, I don't think we've got Gohar Gilani up as yet. Let me just go across to General Raj Kadyan. General, do you believe that the Army's position would be seriously compromised if AFSPA had to be diluted? Because they're not talking about removing AFSPA altogether. They're talking about progressively removing it in most areas and replacing it with the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Vishnu, first let me recount one or two facts. One is there are two misperceptions about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. One is that it is a kind of a license given to the soldiers to carry out human rights violations at will, which includes rape, loot, plunder, kill, which is absolutely wrong. Second is, it is misperceived that this is actually the cause of alienation. It is not so. Army is not the cause of alienation. Army went there because people were already alienated. Now, you take the situation.
So that's a very debatable position, sir.
Yeah, it can be debated. We are debating in any case. That is my view. I mean, why did the army go there if the people were not alienated? The alienation is a larger issue. Take the recent election. How many people in the valley voted for the mainstream national party? They all voted for the regional party. Is that not alienation? Do you blame the army for it? No, there are larger issues. It is not a military problem which the army can solve. It is a larger political problem, it's a human problem which the nation needs to look at. Now, you take the army's concern, yes. You take a soldier, you post him to J&K without his consent, possibly against his will. You send him on operation without his consent. You send him in an area. Just a minute, Vishnu. Let me finish.
No, sir, the question is very specific, sir.
Yeah.
If AFSPA goes or is diluted substantially, how does this affect the army?
It will affect. It will
ultimately,
affect the operational
ultimately, the army doesn't want AFSPA. They wouldn't want it. They have it because they require it. Ultimately, in the larger scheme of things, if law and order is handled by the Jammu and Kashmir police, as this agreement seems to suggest, why would the army necessarily say that it's wrong this way forward?
AFSPA is imposed only in those areas which are declared disturbed.
Yes.
If the situation is normal, it's not a disturbed area, there is no Armed Forces Special Powers Act, nor is it required.
So you're worried that these disturbed areas would be declared, that declaration would be removed?
The starting point is disturbed area.
Yeah.
If the army, if you feel that the situation is normal, don't declare it.
Okay, I just want to go across to Gohar Gilani, who I believe now joins us. Mr. Gilani, to the best of your knowledge, what as far as AFSPA is concerned in the language is the PDP worried about?
I think it's very important, the language of the AFSPA in the CMP, because it is to be, for the PDP, it's a challenge to sell to the people of Kashmir that they have negotiated this AFSPA, because earlier governments, for instance, Umar Abdullah was insisting on revoking this act, but he did not succeed, and then he could not sell it to the people of Kashmir Valley. So always we have had this challenge that the Indian Army plays a spoil sport in removing this act, and now the challenge for the PDP is to really convince the BJP that it can actually agree to the phased withdrawal of the AFSPA or complete revocation of the act. But I don't know how the army is going to perceive this deal, and on the hindsight it appears that PDP is insisting on the revocation of AFSPA, and that's where the language becomes important, and it's ultimately the language of the common minimum program that actually can be seen as a point where PDP can sell something to the people of the Kashmir, and how BJP can address to the RSS and its and make some compromise on its core ideology.
Praveen Swami, just gaze into a crystal ball in a sense for us. What is the language of AFSPA which could be acceptable for the PDP?
Well, the first thing is that I think revocation of AFSPA is the wrong phrase. This is a central act. There's no question of revoking it. There are two acts, Vishnu. I think it's helpful to understand what exactly is being talked about. AFSPA is imposed in areas which are declared a disturbed area under the Disturbed Areas Act. Now, the state government has the power to declare an area a disturbed area and to do away with that declaration when circumstances warrant. Before 1998, for example, in Jammu, there was no Disturbed Areas Act, and therefore AFSPA was not in force. One of the possibilities that has been being discussed is to go back to that situation, the pre-98 situation, in districts where the situation has improved dramatically. The second possibility is that already in Jammu and Kashmir you have many areas where the army is not present. There is no army, for example, in urban areas in Srinagar. It has no urban areas in Jammu and Kashmir. It has no counter-insurgency role in populated areas. In those areas, you could have a situation where AFSPA simply ceases to be relevant because the army isn't deployed anymore in those areas. Now, I'm guessing that there's been some to and fro about what a sort of line pulling out this might be. The PDP is probably looking for some firm commitments to withdraw the Disturbed Areas Act and therefore pull back AFSPA from specific districts. That would be a political victory for it. the BJP is probably trying to push for saying, well, in some areas we'll just pull the army out, we'll let the police handle it there, and therefore the whole question of ASPA will not arise in those areas. The PDP is going to want something, nicer than a post-dated check on this. So I'm suspecting there'll be some nudge and push and shove until both sides find a formula they can live with. Having said that, I mean, these ideas have been debated for some years now.
Yep.
And frankly, there are many places in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, many districts, many tehsils, which if you look at per capita firearm fatality violence are safer than the city of Delhi. So at some point, the central government's going to have to bite the bullet, actually say, well, what do we mean by normal? Where do we need this act? Where do we need the army deployed? And come to some clear understanding of what a roadmap for changing things might be.